In 1982, during a match in Rosemont, Illinois, Jimmy Connors became incensed by the behavior of his rival, John McEnroe. In a highly unusual move, Connors climbed over the net during the game, angrily pointing his finger at McEnroe until he was face to face with him. Connors put his finger in McEnroe's face, and McEnroe responded by pushing Connors away. This altercation led to the intervention of 3 officials attempting to separate them, but the two continued exchanging heated words. Interestingly, this incident didn't occur at a standard ATP Tour event. The rivalry between Connors and McEnroe was known for its intensity and animosity, often bringing a combative element to the sport. Fast forward to 2010, Rafael Nadal emerged victorious over Novak Djokovic in the US Open Tennis Championship. Following the match, they shared a heartfelt hug at the net, with Nadal offering words of comfort to Djokovic. Their rivalry was fierce, but was marked by sportsmanship and respect, embodying the essence of gentlemanly competition. This was in stark contrast to the dynamic between John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors, where exchanges were icy at best. Their interactions were limited to brief handshakes and avoiding eye contact. McEnroe even remarked that Connors seemed intent on crushing his hand during their obligatory post-match handshake. The rivalry between the two American tennis players started early, with tensions rising when McEnroe, then an amateur and still a high school student, qualified for Wimbledon at the age of 18. His unexpected journey to the semifinals, where he faced off against Jimmy Connors, the reigning king of tennis, marked the beginning of their contentious relationship. Connors, recognizing the emergence of a new contender, coldly ignored McEnroe in the locker room. Their verbal exchanges on the court were far from friendly, with Connors often hurling insults at McEnroe, who earned the nickname McNasty. During their 1980 Wimbledon match, Connors snapped at McEnroe, "Shut your mouth and play." And at the French Open, his admonitions included a blunt "F off." The hatred was apparent from the start, setting the stage for a legendary rivalry. It's possible to argue that the Djokovic-Nadal rivalry ranks as the most significant in the history of men's tennis. They have faced each other 59 times, with Djokovic holding a slight edge with 30 victories to Nadal's 29, including 18 encounters at Grand Slam tournaments, where Nadal holds the advantage 11-7. While this rivalry might be the most frequent in tennis history, many believe the McEnroe-Connors rivalry holds greater importance and offers more entertainment value. Their battles spanned from 1977 to 1991, totaling 34 matches, with McEnroe leading their direct confrontations 20-14. This rivalry not only captivated audiences, but also profoundly influenced the sport. Djokovic and Nadal have undoubtedly provided countless memorable moments in tennis, yet it was the rivalry of McEnroe and Connors that truly transformed the sport in several key aspects. Their dynamic mirrored the intense rivalry of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, driven by a deep personal dislike for each other, which elevated their competition to an unparalleled intensity. Currently, the prospect of witnessing such an electrifying rivalry in tennis today seems slim. Nick Kyrgios stands out as the most outspoken and audacious player in modern tennis, possessing a level of talent that matches the best in the sport. However, the likelihood of him evolving into a formidable competitor remains doubtful. Should Kyrgios ever tap into his full potential, his confrontational demeanor and temperament could match the infamous antics of John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors. Yet the current tennis landscape lacks another player with both a fiery character and exceptional talent. With Novak Djokovic nearing the end of his illustrious career, and rising stars like Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner being too gentlemanly to engage in aggressive confrontations or verbal outbursts on the court, the sport currently has no one else who combines top-tier skill with a provocative personality. In matches featuring John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors, the atmosphere could be described as offensive versus vulgar. McEnroe was easily triggered by line calls he perceived as unfair, leading to explosive reactions that in turn irritated Connors. These outbursts not only distracted Connors, but also seemed to serve as a tactic to influence umpires' decisions on future calls. Pat Cash, a prominent Australian tennis player, suggested that McEnroe's tantrums were deliberate acts of gamesmanship, amounting to unfair play. During the 1980 Wimbledon semifinals, Connors confronted McEnroe, exasperated by his behavior, comparing him to a child and demanding he cease his antics. McEnroe's most infamous incidents including his vehement protest, "You cannot be serious," "Chalk flew up," challenging a call at Wimbledon in 1981 where he insisted that the ball had left a mark, and his aggressive questioning of a chair umpire at the Swedish Open in 1984 with, "Answer the question, jerk." Connors, on the other hand, was known for displaying a unique form of unsportsmanlike conduct, a testament to his rougher background in tennis, far removed from the world of country clubs. He was notorious for shoving tennis balls into his shorts, making suggestive motions with his racket handle and mouth, and positioning his racket provocatively between his legs. Another signature Connors gesture was grabbing his crotch, a move that was open to a wide range of interpretations. Away from the tennis court, he also set himself apart by choosing not to stay in the same hotels as his fellow competitors, further highlighting his distinct approach to the sport and its traditions. The rivalry between McEnroe and Connors over 14 years transformed the landscape of American tennis. McEnroe was a virtuoso on the court, known for executing shots from the baseline with angles that defied logic, and displaying a sublime finesse at the net. His ability to play with such creativity and flair left audiences and competitors alike in awe, often puzzled by his technique. On the other side, Connors thrived as a relentless fighter from the baseline, drawing energy from the chaos of the game and being adept at rallying the spectators behind him. This was especially true in New York City, much to McEnroe's annoyance, where Connors could turn even McEnroe's home advantage to his favor. Connors embodied the aggressive, fast-forward moving style of Joe Frazier, in contrast to McEnroe's more tactical and elusive approach reminiscent of Muhammad Ali, always maneuvering and waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The face-offs between Connors and McEnroe had the intensity of gladiator battles, captivating a wide audience. And on one side was Connors, the unrefined fighter whose main strategy was to hit the ball with as much power as possible at every opportunity. On the other side stood McEnroe, the connoisseur of the game's aesthetics, favoring precision and the art of crafting angles, who would later channel his appreciation for beauty into opening an art gallery in New York City. Both players unreservedly displayed their anger, pain, and frustrations during matches, making their encounters more than just high-level tennis. They were a fusion of sports and dramatic performance. Audiences realized that tennis had evolved beyond a simple exchange of shots between two players. The rivalry between the two American stars started to draw in fans typically associated with more traditional American sports, like baseball, football, and basketball, often referred to as the beer-drinking crowd. Images of McEnroe and Connors were present everywhere in the media, as those of any celebrity, sparking a surge in interest among the youth and making it a challenge to find available public tennis courts. This newfound popularity did not go unnoticed by sponsors, who quickly jumped on the bandwagon with lucrative advertising deals. The McEnroe-Connors period marked the peak of tennis's appeal in the United States, a level of popularity that the sport has struggled to recapture since their departure.